Hello and welcome back to my channel, Craft Time by Casey. I'm Casey and this is the necklace that I will be making in today's video. I am super happy with the way that it came out. Just about everything in this necklace I received in the April 2022 bargain bead box, and I'm absolutely thrilled. I love those two large elongated beads at the end on the longest strand, and the natural stone, also the hammered textures of the findings. I did use a couple of my own findings and some bead caps, but like I said, most of it came from the bead box, and I am just very happy with how it came out. So if you would like to see how this necklace came about, then stay tuned. All right, so let's just get right into it. So I'm gonna start off by quickly telling you what tools I will be using. I am going to be using 2 sets of my chain nose pliers, and I will also be using my round nose pliers. I will be using my crimping pliers, and I will also be using my fine point cutters. So what I have in mind is a multi-strand necklace, and I will be using 49 strand bead along wire in the color Bright, which is a silver color, and I usually get it in the 100 feet because I go through it so quickly. And I know that the findings that you see here are a brass color, but you won't even be able to tell that the wiring is silver. Everything's going to be covered. So I am using pretty much dominantly the beads and different items that I received out of the April 2022 bargain bead box. I will be using these beads. Now, in my unboxing video, I had an incredibly helpful comment. I was pronouncing it Zai, DZI beads, and somebody in the comments said that it's pronounced Z, like Z-E-E. So however it is pronounced, these beads, these beautiful elongated beads, will be in the longest strand of my multi-strand necklace. I absolutely love the way those beads look. I will also be using the 2 sizes of the natural stone jasper beads that came in. Again, I absolutely love them. I love natural stone beads. I have several in my own stash, and I mean, I just think they're beautiful. So I'll be using those. I will also be using the chain that came in the bead box, and the pieces that I will be using are 42 links out of the chain, 42 links, 2 pieces of 42 links, and the hammered finished, these linking pieces. I will have one on either side of the necklace. All of the findings came out of my own stash. We have the crimp covers, wire guardians, crimp tubes, a little bit larger jump rings, a little bit smaller. We have the lobster clasp, and I will also be using these bead caps. They have the leaf print on them, which I think goes really well with these earthy tones. Okay, I also will be using my spacer beads, and I will link below as many items as I can. The items that came from my stash and didn't come out of the bargain bead box. So I have pre-cut a length of the wire, a little bit more than 12 inches. So I will show you how I start a necklace. So I'm going to put on the crimp tube. I'm going to put on a jump ring and a wire guardian. All right, I'm gonna wrap the wire around, put it back through the other side. And I make sure the jump ring goes up in the wire guardian and that the crimp tube has both wires going through it. All right. So I'm going to pinch that wire guardian closed just a little bit with my fingers and separate this wire so that it is not pinched or overlapping. And I'm going to push that crimp tube up to the end. I'm going to take my crimping pliers. You can see there are 2 divots in there. I'm going to go up to the second divot, give it a good smash, and you'll have that wonderful taco shape. Turn it on its side, go in that first divot, give it another smash, and it's closed pretty good, but I always like to go in with that flat part at the end of the crimping pliers and just give it that final smash so that it's closed really tight, nice and secure. So now I'm going to place that crimp cover over the smashed crimp tube and then turn it over just like that. Then I'm going to take my chain nose pliers, give it a good smash, and then I'm going to kind of hit it on the front, start to curl it a little bit. And there you have it. There is the beginning of this chain, and that will be the same way you begin each chain. So at any chain in the necklace that you need help to how to start the chain, you can come back to this point in the video. All right, so now we can put the beads on. So I want to start with a bead cap facing up. We're going to be using the small 8mm beads. Bead cap facing down. Spacer bead. Bead cap facing up. Stone. Bead cap facing down. Spacer bead. All right, I want to make sure that tail is tucked in those first few beads. Okay, so this is the pattern, and we're going to do this one more time before we get to the center. All right, so at this point, I am cutting into my own video. When I was transferring my video, which I filmed in segments, I realized I lost a segment. So I am going to very quickly show you how to close the strand of necklace. Now, I just made an example piece here. This isn't actually a piece. I mean, it's real as in that it exists, but it's not a piece of jewelry that I will be making. I put this together very quickly so that I could show you the process of how to close it, and that way you could refer back to it for each one of the strands in this necklace. So let's pretend we're right at the end of the strand. I'm going to put on my crimp tube and my jump ring and my wire guardian. I'm going to put it through one side, wrap it around, put it through the other. Then I'm going to make sure that jump ring goes all the way up into that wire guardian, just like this. And I'm going to make sure the crimp tube has both strands of the wire going through it, just like this. So then I will hang on to that jump ring and the wire guardian and pull it all down. And then I'm going to send that wire through the first bead or two. Send it through that bead cap right there. And I'll hold on to that and pull it all down, make it nice and snug. So I'm going to take that wire guardian, I'm going to pinch it closed with my fingers. Just a little closed, you don't have to smash it too hard. You want to be gentle with it. I'm going to pull that tail and hang on to those beads. Now I'm going to grab my crimping pliers and I'm going to go into that second divot, just like that, and give it a good smash. Give you that taco shape, turn it on its side, go into that first divot. And it gives you a pretty good smash, but I always like to go in with that flat part at the end of the crimping pliers and give it that final last smash. So that makes it nice and tight and very secure. So at this point, I'm going to hold on to that jump ring. I'm going to take my crimp cover and place it right on top of the smashed crimp tube and then turn it over just like that. Then I'm going to grab my chain nose pliers and smash. And then I'm going to take care of that tail. Get in there as close as I can, snip that off. I'll go in there with my nail and tuck it into that next bead, just like that. All right. So now that end is nice and secure. If you need the reminder on how to close the end of each strand, you can refer back to this point. Each strand is done with the exact same process. So here is my longest strand of my multi-strand necklace. So I'm going to set this right here and go on to the next one. So for this strand, I'm going to be using these 6mm agate beads in the color of green. I'm also going to be using these spacer beads. They're also the hammered style. They're going to go along with the theme. And these are the beads that I'm not sure came in every single bead box because they were not on the shipment identification key. So I don't know if it was a mispack in mine or if there was a misprint on the shipment identification key, but I am super happy that I received them because they are awesome and beautiful. So I, of course, am going to use them. I have already started this strand for the necklace with the wire guardian, crimp cover, and jump ring. So if you need additional help on how to start it, just go back into the video where we did the first strand. It is started the same way. So this will be a very simple strand. It's gonna be a back and forth between the green and the spacer, the green and spacer. So we're gonna go down to the other end, make sure that tail is tucked in to the first couple of beads, and there is your very simple pattern. We're going to continue this pattern until the end. All right, so here is the second strand. Again, very simple pattern, just kind of the back and forth. For me, I'm letting the decoration, the hammered look, the hammered finish, kind of be the star in this strand. And I've already finished it off at the end, so if you need help with that, you can, just like the beginning, you can go back to the first strand, and it finishes the exact same way. On to the next one. All right, so for this last strand, this will be the shortest strand. I will be using the cappuccino colored rondelles. And I will be using these faceted, elongated green crystal beads. And you can see the multi shades of green in these beads. Absolutely love it. I will be using more of the leaf patterned bead caps, as well as a few spacer beads from my own stash. Again, I will link everything below that I can. So I have began this strand. If you need a little reminder on how to start these necklace strands, then you can go right back to that beginning strand, and it's the exact same process. So for this one, I'm going to start with the green faceted spacer, green faceted spacer, I'm going to go down and make sure that tail is tucked in those first few beads. All right, so we're going to have this simple back and forth for the first 8 beads, and then I'll catch back up with you. So here is one side of this shortest strand, and now I will show you how I will do the center component. I have bead cap facing up, rondelle, bead cap facing down, spacer. Bead cap facing up, rondelle, bead cap facing down, spacer. Bead cap facing up, rondelle, so there is that center component with the 3 rondelles, and now I'm going to do this exact same over here with the green faceted beads and the little spacers on the other side. All right, so here is my 3rd strand, and I have already finished it off. Or if you need a reminder on how to finish it off, you can go ahead and go back to the beginning of the video, and it is the exact same process. So now I have all 3 strands, and of course when you have 3 strands to a multi-strand bracelet, you want them to be growing in length because they are going to sit like this in the necklace. So now we are going to connect them. I'm going to change these smaller jump rings out for the larger ones. And this is just a matter of using both chain nose pliers. And now I will get a larger jump ring, connect the end, just like that, and connect it to the hammered out connector piece. And close that jump ring, just like that. So now I'm going to swap out all the rest of the jump rings for larger jump rings. So now I'm going to get another large jump ring, both sets of chain nose pliers, connect it to the end, connect it to the connector piece, close the jump ring. Last large jump ring for this side, open it, connect the small piece at the end, and connect it to the large connector piece. Close that jump ring. So now we have all three pieces connected on one side. Make sure everything's hanging the right way, nothing is twisted. And now we're going to connect the three on the other side. Open the jump ring, connect the smallest one, and to the other connector. Close the jump ring. Next jump ring, middle one, and connect it to the connector piece. And close that jump ring. All right, and now the last one. Connect that third one. Make sure everything is sitting the right way. Connect it and close the jump ring. All right, so now we have our three strands all connected to our hoops, to our round connector pieces. And now I'm going to put this aside and we're going to make the top part before we connect it together. So I'm going to make a component piece that I'm going to use an eye pin, just like this, and I'm going to put a bead cap up. I'm going to use another large 10mm bead. Bead cap down, spacer, bead cap up, rondelle, bead cap down. So this will be our component piece, and I'll show you how I make loops. So this, the hole there at the bottom, the loop, the eye part of the eye pin, I'm going to make sure is facing up and down, because I try to have the loop at the top, loop in the bottom facing the same way. And I'm going to take my round nose pliers and have it just above that top bead cap, just a little bit of space. And then I bend it just like that. And I'm going to bend it back with my fingers just like that. And then when I take my pliers, round nose pliers, it's got the beginning of a nice loop. I'm going to get in there with my fine point cutters. I'm going to hold on to the tail with my fingers so it doesn't go flying, and I'm going to cut that tail off. So now I'm holding it just like this, and I'm going to go in there with my round nose pliers and close that loop. And just kind of bend it back in to the bead cap. So, and it's just like that. So here is the component, and we need to go ahead and make one more of these because we need one on each side of the necklace. So now we have two. So now we are going to connect both sides of our chain to these components. So I'm going to use one of my smaller jump rings. Open that jump ring, connect that component to the jump ring, then I'm going to connect that last link in the chain, just like that. Now I'm going to close that jump ring. I'm going to grab my next jump ring, and I'll go ahead and open that. And this will be the side. I'm going to connect that to the chain, just like that. And this, once I close this jump ring, this is going to be where the lobster clasp connects. I'm going to take the next jump ring, open that, and I'm going to connect it to the end of the chain, and I'm going to connect the lobster clasp to this one. And then on the opposite side, I'm going to connect the last link in that chain and the component. And close that jump ring. All right, so now it is a matter of connecting everything. All right, so I have a larger jump ring. I'm going to connect it to the end of this part of the chain, and then I'm going to bring in the bottom necklace component and connect it to one side. And close that jump ring. Then I'm going to grab the other side. Now you want to make sure everything is hanging properly, which this is currently not hanging properly, so I'm going to set this down and make sure before I connect anything else to it. All right, so there we go. I'm going to connect the necklace piece to the larger jump ring, and then I'm going to connect the component and the other side of the chain. And I'm going to close this jump ring. So now I need to close the lobster clasp. And there we go. There's our piece. So I'm going to go set it up. I'm going to go set it up on my display so that we can get a better view. All right, so here is the finished piece. I absolutely love the way this came out. Let's get on in there and see how these strands came together. I like that component at the top, connecting it into the chain. I think this is pretty awesome. I love these earthy, natural stone tones that came in this month's bead box. All right, if you like this video and you want to see other videos like this, as well as unboxings, different types of tutorials, all kinds of inspiration, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. Give me a like, leave a comment. I absolutely love reading your comments. You guys are so kind. And it's truly one of the highlights of my day. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I definitely look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.